This tutorial goes over some of the advanced search features of the Neuroscience Information Framework portal, or NIF portal. If you're not familiar with the NIF project, we recommend that you look at our basic tutorials that are available either as text pages or in some cases as videos. Briefly, however, the NIF project is designed to provide easy access to the wealth of resources. By resources, we mean data, materials, and tools that are available to neuroscience researchers or anybody that is interested in neuroscience. In order to provide access to these, the NIF maintains several different indexes that allow you to do various types of search. For example, we have an extensive literature collection indexing the PubMed resources. We also provide a very extensive data federation. By data federation, these are independent databases, and NIF provides simultaneous query across these independent databases, providing deep access to the content of these. NIF currently indexes over 60 different databases that contain over 30 million records. These databases are characterized roughly by the type of information that they provide, images, drugs, disease, grants, and also by the level of the nervous system in which they adhere. We also maintain something called the NIF registry, which is a catalog of resources. Currently there are over 3,000 that are listed that are characterized by the type of resource they are they a database, what do they offer, and by several keywords. We are constantly adding both to the NIF data federation and to the NIF registry through our curators and also through contributions by the community. In order to search effectively across these different resources that are very, very diverse, NIF maintains a very extensive ontology, or a vocabulary essentially, that's enhanced with various semantic relationships. These vocabularies serve as the basis for what we call a concept-based search that allow you to go beyond a simple string-based search where you're only looking for particular strings of letters. So in this tutorial, we'll go over a little bit on how to use some of these features. The NIF vocabularies themselves are available by clicking on the NIF vocabulary link and also through the NCBO Bio portal. We've tried to make searching and using the NIF vocabulary as easy as possible. So NIF has a very simple keyword-based search interface, such as you would find on any different search engine. To begin, we can type in a term such as hippocampus and hit the search bar. Now notice in this case, if the term that you type, in this case hippocampus, is available in the NIF vocabularies, it will bring you to our wiki page, the Neuralex wiki, where all of our vocabulary terms are exposed. This is sort of like Wikipedia, only it uses a semantic wiki, but it's a little different. This is not designed to tell you everything that there is to know about the hippocampus, such as an article in Wikipedia. It's designed to tell you certain types of structured information. So what is the definition, what is the synonyms, and also what are the relationships in which this concept can participate. For example, hippocampus is a brain region and tells you that it's part of the hippocampal formation. It also tells you what neurons are in the hippocampus and other information. And down here you'll notice it tells you the parts of the hippocampus. So we have CA1, CA2, CA3, and the fimbria are all considered parts of the hippocampus. This is a dynamic inventory. The reason that we expose this on the wiki is we would like the community to be able to contribute to this, and so if there's information that's missing or factually incorrect, the community can help to moderate that. Over on the right, we show the offerings of the NIF Data Federation registry and also literature for that particular concept, and these again are grouped according to data types. So I'm going to focus today mostly on the Data Federation. If we go over here and we click, for example, let's say on models, this will take you to the NIF Advanced Search interface, and it will highlight those offerings that we have under the category model. In this case, here's data that's coming from the ModelDB database maintained by Yale. Now notice up here that even though I searched for hippocampus, when we now come down into the search query box, you can see that this has expanded not only to the term hippocampus, but also other terms that NIF has stored as synonyms for this particular concept. You saw those exposed through the Neuroscience Wiki. NIF does this because, again, there are many, many different names for the same thing, and most of the databases that have been created don't use any type of controlled vocabulary, so therefore they have many different words for the same thing. We found that this was an effective way of bringing these things together without having to have each database explicitly map their content. So if you go over here, you can see the different categories displayed, and if you click on any one of these, it will tell you the holdings that we have. Here you see, for example, hippocampus. Now, NIF is not a strictly semantic search engine. You'll notice that this is hippocampus abundant gene transcript, but NIF recognized the term hippocampus, and that's why it returned this record to you. As the NIF project evolves, we will be doing more and more explicit mapping that will allow us to become more and more precise about the sorts of records that we return. But right now, NIF casts a fairly broad net, and we don't have a lot of the explicit semantics built into our system. But again, NIF will try to take a guess as to what, or not, will not take a guess, but NIF will expand automatically into these different components so that it brings up more results than you would get normally. Okay. So notice also over here that some of the terms that you see in the search interface are highlighted by this blue line. These are entities that are contained inside the NIF vocabularies, and NIF indicates that it recognizes that this is an entity by putting this line underneath it. So neuron and cell, CA1 pyramidal neuron. If you hover over this, you see that NIF provides information on what it thinks these are. Again, because these have not been explicitly entity mapped, it recognizes that CA1, pyramidal, and neuron are all things that this thing might be. So the entire string hasn't been matched. And so you can see here that it says that there's neuron is a cell, there's CA1 pyramidal neuron, which is a cell, CA1 itself is an anatomical structure, neuron is a cell, and pyramidal neuron is a cell. For anything where there is this highlighting, if you right-click on it, it provides some additional options for you. For example, there are query options. You can replace the current query with any one of these terms, and notice that NIF breaks this up because it doesn't know which one you might be interested in. You can also add to the query. So if one comes over here and says, well, gee, I'd like to add CA1 to the query, it goes ahead and it puts these together. Now, notice that in this case, because you added a cell, NIF joins this together by the AND operator, because that's the one that's selected up here. NIF automatically, when synonyms are concerned, joins them using the OR operator, because it assumes that you're looking for any one of these terms and not all of them together. So NIF tries to be clever about how it joins together terms based on the concepts that you're selecting. Notice also over here that the terms that you have selected have been displayed in this box. This allows you to examine other sorts of relationships that are available for a given concept and add them or subtract them as well from the search box. So in this case, when I opened up the hippocampus, anytime you see a little yellow folder, it means NIF recognizes the term and its parts of the vocabulary are mentioned here. If the term exists without a folder, it means that NIF has no information on it. So here you can go ahead and select by going and clicking on it. Again, NIF will add these as an OR because it assumes that you would like to know any one of these and not AND together. If you want to explicitly change it, you can always go in here and edit this by hand. If you'd like to select all of them, you can right-click and NIF will select all of them, thereby searching for all parts of the hippocampus. This is a text box, as I indicated, so you can go in here and edit it if you wish. You can also save the search so that you can use it for a future time. NIF does provide a login option so that you can save these searches under your name. If you log in, then these will be saved indefinitely. If you just hit Save Search,